Okay, so welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about how to build an attractive body as a man. So let's get straight into it. One big mistake a lot of you guys make is you think that you need to be very big, like super big and muscular and a bit fat too. We don't want to be this. That's not going to be attractive. It won't look good. What we need is a leaner body. We need like a V-taper and more of like an aesthetic physique. I'm going to explain how to actually get that exactly. So what a lot of guys do is keep trying to get bigger. We don't want to do that. Unless you're like a bodybuilder or something, obviously that's a bit different. Or powerlifter, but that's a bit different. Obviously, we're talking about how to actually look good. So you don't want to be very big, just bulking forever, and it might look like a bit of a badass. A lot of guys might be impressed by you. Don't get me wrong, but you won't look attractive. Okay, so we don't want to be very big. Okay, what we want is we want an aesthetic. Basically, just means something that looks good. We want aesthetic. How do I word it? Aesthetic body, which is going to consist of something called a V-taper. So what you'll realize is it's all about not exactly how much muscle you build. Obviously, you want a decent amount, right? But it's about where you build the muscle. Which parts of your body do you have more muscle on? Okay, so what is a V-taper? A V-taper consists of having wider shoulders, having a defined back, built and defined back. Messing up my words. A built and defined back. Well, every part of your muscles has to be defined, right? No matter which muscle we're on about. But I guess when I say defined, I should be more specific. I mean your lats. When you're tensing your muscles, you should have your lats coming out a bit because they've been built up. Also, we want a thin waist and abs. Now you want a six-pack, right? And obliques, but also we got to keep a thin waist. I'll talk more about that in a bit. Cool. So I would also say you need well-built arms. That's going to include your biceps and triceps. So your biceps, everyone knows what your biceps are. It's these muscles here, and then your triceps are the back of the arm. We want both of those to be built and defined. Now I'll talk about definition and what defined means. First, I'm gonna have to rub this off. Cool. Before I even talk more about like exercises and what exercises I want you to do to build up certain muscles, I want to just mention that it's very important to be eventually down to 12 to 15% body fat. If your body fat is too high, it doesn't matter how much muscle you have or where you have your muscles. You won't look as good as if you had your body fat lower. Now, I would say between 12 and 15% is the ideal range for most men. Go any lower than that, most men would feel very sluggish and weak. We don't want that. Between 12 and 15, you'll look defined, but still have strength. I would say if you're chasing more strength, you can be on the higher end of that and be at like 15, 16%. But 15% is where most people start to look lean or leaner, and you can see your abs and stuff. So it's all about revealing your muscles and then making them pop. Because if you're at lower body fat, it's going to look like you have more muscle than you actually do. You're going to look bigger than you actually are. And if you have your proportions right, you built muscle in the right areas, like I've talked about having like a wider upper body and like a slimmer waist and well-defined arms, it'll look really good. So let's get into a bit more detail. And I was going to talk about it in this video, how to get your body fat lower and whatnot. But I don't want to talk about that in this video. I'm going to save that for another video because I'll be here all day talking about that. Cool. Yeah, so let's talk about specific exercises for your muscles and how to train them and which exercises I recommend that you focus on. And by the way, you'll see like I've written at the top, it's about building an attractive body as a man. This isn't for women. So if you're not a guy, click off this video because it's a bit useless for you. But yeah. So let's talk about specific exercises. The shoulders. You've got to understand there's multiple heads to a lot of these muscles. There's multiple parts to the shoulders especially. So the main exercise you want to focus on is going to be something like, if you're a weightlifter, overhead presses, OHP, I'll just abbreviate it. You can do this with barbells, dumbbells, whatever you want, machines. You also want to do lateral raises. Usually people do these with dumbbells. Takes a bit of control though. You might want to do the machine or cable versions or whatever. Machines are probably the best for most people at the start anyway. Lateral raises is going to work the sides of your shoulders. It's going to make you look more. It's going to make your shoulders look more 3D, which is very important for this aesthetic physique and your V taper. Very underrated exercise. Okay. And then if you want like a calisthenics exercise, you can do with your body weight. It'll be like pike push-ups and maybe handstand push-ups as well, but that's basically more advanced. I'm just going to put handstand work in here because handstands are very similar to like an overhead press, just with your body weight. And so you want to do reps with that, so handstand push-ups stuff. So yeah, cool. So that's your shoulders. When it comes to your chest, you got to understand that you want to focus on your upper chest and your lower chest as well. When it comes to your upper chest, there's incline presses. You got like your incline bench press, the barbell or dumbbells. You've got basically that's all you need really for your upper chest. For the lower, mid and lower chest, you've got your regular bench presses, with either dumbbells, weights, dumbbells, barbells, or machine version, like a seated chest press version. You can do that as well if you want. You've also got calisthenics exercises, like push-up variations. You can pick a type of push-ups that's more at your current intensity level. If normal push-ups are too easy or too hard. You've also got, let's see, dips as well. Dips are great. Another calisthenics exercise. We call the dips the squat of the upper body, basically, because it works a lot of your upper body, all your upper body pushing muscles, which is great. So dips are great as well. And yeah, that's about it for your chest, really. You don't need many exercises for a lot of these muscles. It's just about knowing which exercises are good for you, down to your preferences out of these. And it's just about training intensely, getting enough volume, working hard consistently. It's not about doing a million different exercises. I see some people doing like 20 different exercises for one muscle group and spending like 3 hours at the gym doing that. It's inefficient. It doesn't work that way because your intensity would drop a lot and be spread out like per exercise. And yeah, you wouldn't really make much progress. Maybe at the start you will a bit because you're new, but after that now you won't. It's all about quality over quantity. Okay? And plus we don't have time to be in the gym all day. Cool, next we've just got biceps, triceps, and your core to go through. Actually, I'm gonna write this in different colors. But yeah, biceps. Playing a bit of Russian roulette with these colors. I'm just pulling them out randomly, so I got red to come out, so that's going to be red for triceps. And we'll talk about abs after. So when it comes to biceps, you've got some really good exercises. Obviously, you've got your normal dumbbell curls. I would say to go for the seated incline curls. Really good version of the regular bicep curl, but you're doing it seated on a bench at a certain angle. It'll really help you get a good stretch on your biceps. So great exercise. Second exercise I want to talk about is a variation of the hammer curl. It's called a crossbody hammer curl. I spam this exercise a lot because it really improves the thickness of your biceps, especially from the side, because it works on a separate muscle next to the biceps called the brachialis. So that just basically pushes your biceps out and also makes your biceps look bigger and thicker than they are. So yeah, it's just a regular hammer curl, but you do it sideways like this instead of just bringing the weight up. Cool. So yeah, let's talk about tricep exercises. And you'll see we don't really need too many exercises to get really good biceps. You don't need much. It's just about quality over quantity. For triceps, you've got tricep, cable, push downs, and you've got overhead tricep extensions, and you'll do these seated on a bench. Okay, cool. So I was going through editing those videos, and it seems like the last video got cut off. I think I ran out of storage, so that sucks. So I'm just going to finish it off now. So basically, I was talking about your arms, right, and your tricep exercises. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk next about the last part, which is your legs, really. A lot of people tend to skip legs. Yeah. And I used to skip legs as well. Well, not skip, but like not train them as much, right? Which is fine if you're training like for more like certain like body weight training skills like calisthenics, right? But you still want to train legs. Don't skip, no matter what. Even if you train them like less often or you don't train them like as hard, that's fine. But don't skip. Okay, make sure you don't skip them, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it boosts testosterone levels naturally. Yeah, so it increases your natural testosterone production, which is important for obviously like making you perform better in your workouts, recover better, and obviously grow more muscle and lose more fat. So training legs is very important. So one thing I will say though as well is you want to avoid. Well, actually, if you're a bodybuilder, you might go for this, but I would say avoid having like tree trunk legs. Like you want your legs to be built and strong, but you don't want them to be too big. And one of the reasons I'm saying this is because if you're going for like calisthenic skills, like I am and a lot of my clients are, having big legs is really going to slow down your progress because they'll weigh you down when you try and do skills and stuff. But you still want strong legs and you want them to have good endurance. So you want them to be able to do a lot of reps, for example. All right. So one of the ways you can actually avoid tree trunks but still have really strong legs is to train at higher reps and not train too heavy and like on your squats and your leg presses, for example. Okay, cool. And by too heavy, I mean like I don't know, doing 200 kg squat. Like that's really hard to do, anyways. But you get the idea. Cool. Next part, your calves. A lot of people say they can't grow their calves. Trust me, you can. From someone like myself who barely had any calves to start with, and now my calves are massive and they look really well defined and they're strong. Train them at the start of your workout. If they're not growing, train them at the start. Honestly, because that's when you're most fresh and you can train at a higher intensity if you train them first. Train them at the start of session. Okay. Go higher intensity, so that means like lift more weight. So like on the standing calf raise or the seated calf raise, I like the standing one, so I'm going to put that in. Don't mind my handwriting, but standing calf raise is really, really good. And to be honest, I just use that one exercise to build my calves. Like you don't have to do a ton of different exercises. It's more about getting enough volume on one exercise, but doing it properly and doing it intensely. But yeah, standing calf raises are really, really good for your calves. And one more tip I'm going to put in here if you want to look good, and that's going to be to make sure you get enough electrolytes. So electrolytes. I did talk about this in a previous video, but they basically make your veins pop more. And will make your muscles, doing your workout anyways. To make your muscles look more full. Okay, so electrolytes are basically like, you can have like a pinch of pink salt per cup of water. So let's say in your bottle for the gym, you can bring 2 liters, for example, to the gym for your workout. You can put in a pinch of salt for each cup amount of water. So yeah. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through in terms of like how to get an aesthetic physique that actually looks good. And yeah, if you found that useful, make sure you subscribe. I've got more videos coming soon. Every week you get at least one new video. Sometimes I might bless you with 2 videos per week. But whatever the videos are, or however many times I post, they will be really good and useful videos. So make sure you pay attention and leave a like and subscribe for more.